All right. Okay, we're live. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to X3 Talks. This is episode 7, and today we have a very interesting topic to talk about. Okay, sebelum tu, let me just quickly introduce myself. So, siapa yang tak kenal, my name is Nabil, and I am, well, basically a lot of things. I would say that I'm a photographer, videographer, editor, marketing strategist, social media manager, AR filter developer, NFT artist and collector, and as well, currently and recently, an engineer. Yeah, okay. So, today I will be your host and moderator for an interesting topic that we will be discussing, which is creativity as a lifestyle. Okay, alright. So joining me tonight, kita ada dua distinguished creators with me. The first speaker, mungkin ramai yang kenal dalam kalangan pendengar ni. Dan rasanya lagi ramai kot yang rindu nak tengok dia live. So he's currently residing in Chicago and working as a graphic designer for a non-profit called Truth in Counting. He's an Intech alumni as well as a graphic design graduate from Columbia College Chicago. He was also the creative director for his college magazine and was featured in Graphis New Annual Talent 2020. His professional work has also been featured in Forbes and Wall Street Journal. So we have Adani Samad in the house. How are you, bro?
Good. How are you? Long
Good,
time no
good.
see.
Yeah, good to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. So next, we have another distinguished creator with us tonight. Mungkin ramai tak kenal beliau atau mungkin ada yang pernah nampak dia dekat Twitter kot. So he's an electrical engineering graduate from University of Sheffield, currently residing in Malaysia, and this is where it gets interesting. He's currently working as a product UI designer in the education sector. He has been known on Twitter for his hashtag tips branding, where he shared a lot of valuable insights on creative branding and marketing tips in his Twitter threads. He even managed to capture the eye of local brand Telekong Siti Khadijah from his sharing and have gathered thousands of audience to his account. So give it up to my brother Izo Shazwan. Welcome to the talk, bro.
Hello, thank you Nabil for hosting tonight's event, and also hello Danny.
All right, awesome. Okay, so mungkin kita boleh start dengan hello, hello. Sorry for the
There's
technical
a
problem.
technical problem. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anyway, I was sorry, cakap seorang pula tadi. Okay, to continue, I was saying. So, I guess we can start the conversation going by macam just kita start something simple lah to warm you guys up. So maybe Izol, you can tell us a bit more about what you do.
Okay, so right, how do I start? Okay, so I work in the education sector as a product UI designer. So you design an app for users, students, in this case it's students, to do home learning. So the app will assist them lah. And the app will consist of a syllabus daripada sekolah. And then my background is I actually graduated from in master in engineering, electrical engineering, but then I switched to design lah because I think the passion in there. And yeah, and also on the side, I do branding strategy and branding design for clients, small and medium businesses lah. Yeah, and also I love to do photography and video, and also I act as a creative director with my friends in our own production company.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing. Adani, tell us a bit more about what you do.
Okay, so I'm a graphic designer, in-house designer actually for a nonprofit called Truth in Accounting. So I provide branding, and I rebranded the company. I provide branding and strategy for the company, and I create social media, graphic and booklets, prints, videos, basically all the media contents for them. I work, in that ballpark. And on the sideline, I also do freelance for client work, such as brand and strategy and logo designing for clients. Yeah, and that's what I've been doing for the past few years.
Okay, awesome to know. So maybe you can let us know a bit more about your interests or passion, specifically in the creative industry and why. Adani?
Okay, so my passion has always been graphic design itself. To me, we see graphic design every day. When you drive, when you walk in town, kita akan nampak graphic design everywhere. You know, as in signage, marketing materials, and I think graphic design itself, it has been around so long that it's so established. There's so source materials to look at. So I think it really inspires me. And now I'm actually more specific into like motion graphics because videos I feel like it's something that is more popular now. And I'm also just recently picked up 3D sculpting, which is kind of new, but it's I like how 3D animations and 3D assets really like it's changes the game in terms of it's interactive and change how we perceive design as it is before as it was.
Alright, okay, thank you. Okay, soalan sama untuk Izul lah. Boleh share sikit ke apa yang that you're passionate and interest in the creative sector and why?
Hmm. My passion actually more on the branding side. So I like to uh, like dissect how is a big company, how does a big brand excel in terms of branding. So when I do that, that's where it also comes to the strategy lah, branding strategy for my client, and I love to help these businesses uh, go to the next level lah. So it's not just in terms of the design, the logo, packaging and all, but also like what is the good strategy for them um, to tell their audience, to tell their customers, oh, this is a good brand. So that's the strategy that I like to do lah. And also, I like to act as a thinker, and I think that's also helps bind to the passion of creative lah. So you have the creative thinking and also helping the business side. Mm.
Okay, interesting. So macam for Izul kan, you mentioned that kiranya you minat all this creative, all the branding stuff. But then you actually graduated with a engineering degree, right? Electrical engineering degree. So
Mm.
maybe you can tell the audience, tell us a little bit more story on that, macam your transition from EE graduate to UI UX designer, and also how macam mana lah what made you choose to switch career, and how did you actually manage to land the job outside of your degree?
Okay, so interesting story. Um, Actually, engineering too, it was like pathway to university, from college to university and all. But then tiba-tiba macam hilang passion in engineering from time to time because I think I miss doing design work, I miss doing the creative stuff. So somehow the passion dekat engineering tu makin lama makin kurang. But then I wanted to start design again. So tak nak macam bazirkan ilmu, 4 years study engineering. So that's when I research and find ada tak somewhere that I can utilize both of this knowledge, my experience in design, all the design principles that I've gathered throughout the years, and also 4 years of my engineering. So that's where I find the UI UX, which is basically you design an app or design a user experience. Actually, it's a sweet spot between those two lah. So those two those two principles of engineering, where selalunya engineering is more like problem solving. You have the experiment, project management and all, with the creative stuff that is design lah. So I think that's where I found the good way lah, and also making good income.
Okay,
Yeah.
so actually, like, how did you manage to land the job, since kiranya macam kalau nak cakap in terms of qualification kan, sebab you
Mm.
graduate with the engineering degree, so how did you manage to actually secure the UI UX job? Did you like belajar sendiri ke macam mana?
Yeah. So actually I'm a self starter. So daripada dulu pun memang belajar pada YouTube. Even buat YouTube video sendiri untuk ajar orang guna Photoshop since I was 11. Lepas tu untuk UI UX ni, I took some time during study tu, ambil macam so accumulated dalam 6 bulan lah. 6 bulan I start building portfolio. So dalam 6 bulan tu sebelum grad, I started building portfolio, and even lepas grad pun I try macam buat my own website ke apa just to show my work lah. So bila ada portfolio ni, and also with the bonus of degree daripada engineering, and actually that helps me to get the space, the slot for interview lah, I think. And then after that just add the interview and get the job lah.
Okay. Alright. Awesome story. So macam on the topic of self-taught self-taught learning kan. So
Hmm.
maybe kita boleh start a conversation jugalah about there's like a famous, I guess, debate lah, orang cakap self-taught artist versus formal education. So maybe I guess Adani, maybe you can give some insight on this.
Yeah, I think both is valid in the creative world because to create something, to have the privilege to create something nowadays is it lies in everyone's hand. You have media and everything. I think every artist starts to create arts by teaching themselves. They are self-taught artists, at start, and then they get formal education. I think the formal education comes very helpful when you want to apply to get like an established job at companies because it's all about the credibility that it adds and it validates you in the sense that you have on paper you are a designer or whatever you are. But yeah, I think we shouldn't discriminate. Siapa yang nak buat art, boleh buat art, and as long as you really have your passion in there, you can.
Okay. Yeah. So macam kiranya I would agree with that jugalah because the resources is already out there. Okay, Izo, maybe I want your opinion on this jugalah. But maybe you can like
Hmm.
put it out there since you yourself is a self-taught artist kan, self-taught creator. So maybe you can give a tips ataupun advice kepada orang yang nak start getting into this creative punya journey lah. Because I think a lot of people sebenarnya sedar betapa pentingnya kreatif ni and how valuable it can be as a skill set for
Hmm.
them. Either nak buat duit lebih ke, like side income, or maybe just expressing themselves. So maybe you can share a bit like any tips or advice or resources.
Okay, so that's a good question. Actually, there are multiple school of thoughts lah. So first, kalau nak buat in term of passion, that mean for your own self lah, maksudnya bukan kerja dengan orang, then you have the at most all the creative possibility lah. Buat je art and then maybe you want to show it social media, you can do that. And I think for the technical semua tu banyak dia ada dekat YouTube and all the resources. But if you want to sell your work ataupun work in an agency or make a career out of creative, then this is where you have to be in the right mindset lah, right? Because when you work with someone, it's different than when you work for yourself. Okay, so for example, macam kalau you are a designer, okay, try instead of maksudnya bukan setakat belajar design or buat design saja, but belajar juga how is your design can help the business. How is your design can help move a needle for a business. Contoh kalau why this color should be like this. And kalau macam marketing pun, graphic designer dalam marketing, okay, why should we simplify this poster? Jangan terlalu nampak macam cacam rambau. Why? Because we want the users to get the audience to nampak terus apa yang what is the offer in the poster. So benda-benda macam tu, you have to know the business side as well. So that's where you can be much more valuable to this company and businesses lah. Kalau setakat buat as an executioner, that's when sometimes you have a problem, macam orang tak value you punya kerja, orang akan underpaid you and all. Yeah. So learn that other stuff as well lah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing, Izo. Maybe at any you have like any tips or tricks or apa-apa lah you want to share on like for people yang nak join to start their creative journey.
Right. So I think in design, the most important thing, I can't speak on behalf of every school and design, but just graphic design itself, you have the passion there. You like art, you like seeing art, you like to think about it. So the basic of arts is the foundation, is the principles. So if you like to, for example, tak gambar, right? Take photography, do photography, design posters, whatnot. I think the most important is to learn the principles. You have to understand the principles first, and then after the principles, you have the principles of design, the principles of photography. You can practice it, and I encourage people to join in creative industry really.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Adani. So moving on and apa kita ada like I feel like we have the opportunity to have you Adani here. Kiranya kerja as a graphic designer in USA. So I guess I would like to macam ask you to share a bit about your creative journey and experience lah, basically about being a graphic designer in America.
Right. So I think being a graphic designer in America is just like being graphic designer in Malaysia, but I can't validate this because I'm not there. But in terms of the market, there's a lot of job. I can see a lot of job posting every day, and even when I was doing job hunts, right? I can see a lot of companies are trying to give treat us fair with the payment and all. So I think a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunities, but also the market is very saturated. That means if you think you're good in design, right? There's other people who are as good as you, if not better. So it's a really challenging challenging industry in America, and I believe in Malaysia too. So you have to hustle, I think, but then there's a lot of talented graphic designers here, and I think it's really a colorful and very active industry. Like every single day, you can see new great stuff, and you thought yesterday, hey, I've seen it all, and then the next day you've seen new arts popping up, and like, why didn't I think that before? And that's I think my creative journey here is really fun, I would say.
All right, thank you for sharing, Adani. That was very like insightful. So kiranya macam you mentioned, since America itself is big and the country itself, so of course the opportunity is big, but then it comes with a larger competition.
True.
So okay, from US and kita pergi balik ke Malaysia. So the next question is, maybe Izola boleh bagi more insight because he has first-hand experience on this. And your thoughts
Hmm.
on how the creative industry is perceived locally in Malaysia.
Wow. Okay, that's a really good question. Um, actually, kalau nak tengok macam mana orang perceive, dulu waktu before this, before all the social media and all, diorang tak nampak, most of them ni lah macam orang lama-lama, diorang tak nampak macam creative is something that you can make a living out of it. But then when it comes to social media punya era, and also especially lepas pandemic ni, waktu pandemic ni memang all the businesses started going digital, and they need more creative people, nak buat ads lah, nak buat poster lah. I think Nabil can also vouch for this, right? And macam nak buat video, so they need this creative power. So that's where somehow the what do you call it, the demand and supply actually meets automatically. And I think right now is the perception is actually is getting there, like it's getting where it's supposed to be for the creative people in Malaysia. And to add on this, I think if anyone wants to venture into creative, there's a lot of option. You can be part of social media, or you can be part of advertising, branding, and all. But try to find a niche, do research and try to find a niche where you can um, be in front of everybody else lah. So right now we don't want any competitors ke apa. So macam mana nak cari niche untuk make you valuable in the area, and be an authority on that, buat sharing ke, buat talk ke whatever, untuk ajar orang so that they see your value in that. Let's say kalau macam niche is instead jadi photographer wedding yang dah terlalu saturated, try jadi photographer untuk budak-budak okay, birthday party or whatever, or something like that lah. You focus on that niche, so that's where dia nampak lagi value kat situ.
Okay. Itulah macam I myself agree jugalah dengan benda tu, because like kat Malaysia ni it's getting there, the perception of the creative industry is getting there. Macam I guess to compare from before, it was worse lah. But the thing for creators lah, for creators, you have to pandai nampak the opportunity lah and grasp it. And macam Izzul cakap, if kalau the market contoh macam wedding photography is already saturated, try to niche down. Pergi ambil gambar macam birthday party ke ataupun just ambil gambar macam gambar-gambar kilang ke apa, they do require that kind of services. It's just a matter of you need to macam pandai untuk mencari peluang lah. Okay, talking
Hmm.
about the relationship of creative and also business and how it intertwine. So okay, since korang dua pun heavily involved in macam korang suka apa pasal branding semua tu kan. So maybe you can share about how creative practices macam branding, marketing ataupun apa yang lain lah vital elements in successful businesses. Ada ni?
So susah untuk tak masuk terlalu technical dalam isu ni. So yeah, so I think to not get too technical, I'll tell a story so we can understand why it's important. So let's say you are a middle class consumer. You have like $3 in your pocket, and it's a hot day, and you want to buy a drink. And then you go in a store and you see on the shelves, on the fridge, in the fridge, there's a couple of colas, right? And then there's RC cola, there's Coca Cola, whatever. And then you know that if you buy RC cola, you'll save some money. But then every single time this happens, you still grab your favorite cola, which is Coca Cola. You don't know why, but you're making a conscious decision. And the backstory of that is that that's where graphic design, brand, and strategy comes into place. When you're putting your brand or putting your service into the market, you have to position them. You might not know, you make a conscious decision to buy Coca-Cola, but you might not know why. But the reason is because they studied already. You would like this design for sure because you fill in the target audience. And it might sound like, oh, it's a loss for RC, but it's actually not, because RC have a whole other audience that they already studied that will come in, and every single time there's new cola in there, they're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna get RC cola because it saves my money. It tastes just as perfect. So that's where graphic design, branding, advertising comes in. You put meaning towards and strategy towards positioning your brand or services out there in the market.
Okay, interesting story. That was very kiranya macam boleh imagine lah. Sebab selalunya memang orang akan prefer the well-known brand instead of other. Walaupun murah. Tapi itulah importance of branding kan. So Izo, same question. Maybe your valuable
Hmm.
insights on this topic as well.
Yeah, I like the way that Danny told the story of the cola lah, because it's relatable to us. Sometimes kita tak tahu kenapa kita beli, but that's the power of branding lah. So when it comes to creative, it's actually you deal with the design principle and all, right? You learn all the design principle and work that why this design should be like this to help the business. But also as a creative, we understand macam mana orang punya needs ni, orang punya behavior ni. It's more like a psychology lah kan. So as a creative, we can be contoh macam buat video ke apa kan, to try do storytelling. Storytelling is also creative, not just technical yang kena shoot video, edit ke apa, but if you can tell a story, that's also creative. And not surprising that macam copywriter or if you write a blog for someone as a ghostwriter, it's also a creative industry, and businesses pay a lot for this kind of service, right? So I think that's the how businesses perceive creative right now lah. So it's very valuable, and also it's very macam best lah kalau nak masuk sekarang, and there's a lot of different area of creative yang boleh masuk.
Okay. Alright, interesting. Kira macam I have some input juga lah to share because I have an experience of buat social media management. So basically what I do for clients, which mainly I handle clients dalam apa niche fashion and beauty lah, macam brand tudung ke apa. So macam sebagai contoh, this one brand tudung, social media manager ni basically their job is to literally manage their social media, which in my case is Instagram. So maknanya kan orang bisnes ni, diorang tahu kepentingan of creating content for your brand. So one way, I guess, the major way to put your brand out there currently right now is through social media. Sebab I guess everyone has social media. Kiranya all eyes are at social media. So the role of social media manager ni kan, it's really interesting and I really enjoy it because kalau kau seorang yang suka guna Instagram for fun, kau suka scroll and kau suka tu, why not you, instead of you just creating content for fun macam tu, I mean it's not wrong, but you can actually make some extra money by managing businesses punya social media. Start small, start yang maybe your friends punya business pun boleh. So kiranya you have to create content for them as well as plan their kiranya macam marketing strategy lah. Kenapa you have to you have to plan ahead. Kenapa kau letak post ni at this time semua. It's a lot of technical stuff lah which I won't get into in this because akan lagi panjang lah. But basically kiranya kalau you observe the big brand contoh macam Tudung Dak ke Nilofa ke apa, diorang tu memang diorang tak just apa post randomly tau sebenarnya. Diorang literally plan it ahead properly, maybe a month ahead, maybe a year ahead juga. So ni basically just nak cakap yang the creative industry ni tak semestinya you have to have a very technical skill macam ambil gambar ke edit video ke apa. It's just as simple as handling social media. So itulah, just letting you guys know about the opportunity that is out there. Okay, so we have talked about the importance of creativity in business. How about kita macam, okay lah, memang best lah dengar it's big money, it's I guess fun untuk siapa yang suka create kan. But I guess since kita semua involved directly in this industry, why not we share the actual reality of it, like security lah of being in the creative sector. Macam kan satu orang cakap yang kenapa kau study apa fotografi, boleh pergi jauh ke apa-apa semua kan. So since korang ada like first hand experience, maybe you guys can share the reality of being in the creative industry.
I can go. Actually, the reality is sama je lah macam kerja lain kan. it's if you get a job with like a company as an in-house designer or agency, you have the security that the company, based on what company you are working on in terms of financial, so you secure in that sense. But if you're doing freelancing, I think the key to securing yourself in terms of financial is management, financial management. That means you have to live within your own means, save your money for the future, in that sense of working freelancing. But the reality of it is that working as a designer, it's not a stagnant job per se. Like you just do the same thing and then you get promoted or whatsoever. You in a sense you have to earn your way there. You have to make something new, make something better each time, and it's a hustle. I would say it's a hustle. To at least maintain the level of quality of your arts. So yeah, I think that's the reality behind it.
Okay, Izo?
Yeah, so to add on that, betul ada cakap lo. You have to hustle and all, because when it comes to creative ni, people, especially the business owner atau in career, your boss ke apa, dia akan tengok what is your worth, what is your value on that, right? So that's where you have to set in mind kalau nak masuk in the industry creative ni, always learn lah. Maksudnya every day is a new thing to learn. There's always gonna be a new thing to learn. You don't, bila masuk, the reality is bila masuk as a creative, you takkan buat all the design stuff sahaja, but also you have to manage your work, you have to present to your client. So that's what soft skill is about, right? Macam kena present, and then kena, especially bila present tu, you have to justify why you made this creative decision. Why should this creative decision help the businesses, help the company, kan? So I think the reality is more than just you doodling around ataupun ambil gambar macam tu. You have to know more than that lah. But for me, the way that I separate between passion, because sometimes bila buat kerja dengan orang ni, kita tak fulfill lah. We are not fulfilling ourselves to be 100% creative. And we have to follow set of guidelines. So what I did is have my another creative outlet, so where I can do illustration yang tak perlu pun nak apa jual ke apa, just do on my own part to fulfill my creative juice. So somehow bila rasa burnout buat benda kreatif yang berkaitan kerja freelancer ke apa, buat benda lain juga. If you like photography as a hobby, then you can do maybe ambil gambar, pergilah keluar KL ke apa ambil gambar just to have that outlet lah bila apa bila rasa burnout dengan the reality of working in the creative. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Macam I can like personally relate juga about the burnout kan. Because like when you just sebab as a creative kan, you like to create. But then when it comes with the pressure of making money, kena manage time, semua tu, so dia akan lead
Betul.
to burnout lah. So that's where it gets difficult. So kiranya macam talking about kiranya the I guess the feeling of creating and is burnout. But one other macam I would say famous experience for creators is imposter syndrome. So okay lah, imposter syndrome ni dia macam basically a form of self doubt lah macam tu. Dia macam when you put an artwork but then you feel like macam tak cantik ke, macam this is not what I like. So macam and then you decided not to share stuff. So maknanya benda tu it limits your creativity. So macam okay lah, kita let's talk about imposter syndrome kan. So maybe you guys can share your view on imposter syndrome and maybe how you guys tackle it.
Yeah, I think imposter syndrome is definitely real, especially in this age and era where you see so many information every day. So you see someone else who you think is at the same level or position with you, but they're achieving so much more. They're making arts that you think better than yours. So it is real, but I think more than that, it doesn't come externally, but instead internally. This is yourself giving you self-doubt. In a sense, it's like a check and balance. When you feel like, oh, you're good, you're in a comfort zone, and then you'll self-doubt yourself, like, oh no, it's not good. So I think the way to tackle it is to actually take it as a challenge instead of something you think about and ponder about all the time and depress about getting stressed and depressed about. You take it as a challenge. Take it as yourself saying, tone it down a little. Try to tone it down. Try not to think about it while you're working, but you just think about it after and just like um, give you a drive. Make it give you a drive to improve yourself for your next arts or next product that you're making. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Izo?
Yeah, so to add on that, for me, they actually imposter syndrome is relatable to perfectionist. That means we are being perfectionists. And as a creative, Adani and also Nabil will vouch for me in this, we are somehow perfectionists in a way, right? So untuk aku, kalau for me, if I want to sometimes you cannot beat the imposter syndrome. You have to live with it, learn how to live with it, right? So for me, is I imagine that all my creative artwork or kerja ke apa, I treat it like imagine as a eggs lah, eggs kan, Pokemon punya eggs kan, atau bird punya egg, and then your artwork is when they hatch out kan, dari burung. Okay, you belah, you jaga dia, kan, bagi makan. So that's how you feed your artwork and bagi dia makan and then belai dia. But then you have to realize burung ni dia tempat dia is dia kena terbang kan. It belongs to the wild, it belongs out there. So somehow you have to let it go. You tak boleh pegang dia lama. Kalau tak dia tak terbang, it won't go anywhere. And then you can feel rasa macam takut tau, tak nak bagi dia keluar. Because bila dia terbang, then after you done your artwork apa, let it go to the wild. Macam in this case it's social media ke or your client ke apa, and then let it be. Kalau dia hinggap dekat pokok, that means it's somewhere lah you can see, oh ada kat sana. Kalau tak nampak dia, maybe dia somewhere else ke apa kan. And kalau nampak macam burung tu jatuh, that means contoh macam orang tak tengok artwork tu, then you can have take, oh I have to learn from this, apa yang boleh aku improve. So treat it as something that it belongs to the wild, not yours. We are just the nurturer of this artwork. Yeah, so think it like that lah.
Okay, very interesting story. Kita macam boleh imagine burung tu semua terbang tadi kau cerita. So thank you for that story. So macam okay lah, macam allow me to macam add on apa imposter syndrome ni juga kan. Kira macam what you guys mentioned is like I would say like macam mana softer way lah to handle it. But there's one actually macam harsher way to handle it. Macam you know if you think that your artwork is not good enough and then you start doubting dengar macam what people are thinking about your artwork, you have to remember to apa the famous Andika punya quote lah, pergi mampus dengan mulut orang. So that can also apply to this lah. But then you have to understand the limits lah. If you like macam create something controversial ke apa tu, then that's common sense lah. But then after all, if you're a creator, if you're confident that your artwork is good to yourself, then you don't have to think about other people. I mean, of course, criticism is good for improvement. But then kalau awal-awal pun dah start fikir macam tu, then how to start? Susah lah nak start kan. So I guess itulah. You just have to be confident about yourself and try not to get other people punya opinion too much in your head. Alright. Okay. So, okay, kita dah cakap banyak about macam apa kepentingan kreatif industri ni lah dalam business, and then the reality of it. And apa yang kita bincang ni mostly is the present, is about the present and also the past. So why not we have a conversation about the future of the creative industry? Maybe in the next 10 years or 15 years or so. Maybe in the next 5 years. Kira macam pandangan korang lah about where the creative industry is going.
Yeah, so I think we're going in the way that it's inevitably sad for a lot of people who like sprints. We're going all digital. I'm pretty sure, like probably a few years from now, a lot of like magazine will stop, being produced like in terms of prints, and it's gonna be all on digital. And apart from that, it's not entirely a bad thing. I think we can save a lot of trees from not printing too much paper. And considering now we're more conscious about the environment, considering this magazine, some people just read it and throw it just like that. So I'm pretty happy about that in terms of design. Taking it a notch down in terms of printing. But other than that, I think the future is in digital. We can see the boom in NFT, non-fungible token, which definitely probably just a bubble, but it's still, it's a sign that people are spending more time on digital. So graphic designers, if you're still out there making, or everything other design, if you're still out there making design for prints, start learning digital now before people are all, super good already now.
Okay, interesting you mentioned about NFT. So macam I guess just nak share a bit lah. Macam if you in the audience don't know, I have been recently active in the NFT community as a creator as well as a collector, but then more on a local base lah, not international global. So macam NFT lah, to those who don't know, and this is like a very short summary lah. NFT ni non-fungible token is basically for creators is a really like I would say revolutionary stuff, because it allows creator to gain to actually gain authority of their artworks, as well as kiranya macam immortalize lah diorang punya artwork in one thing that is called blockchain. I won't get too technical on this. So and one another thing that is kiranya profitable for creators for NFT is that they will apa ni semua artwork yang the creator create, and then if they manage to sell it, they can actually earn perpetual royalty, meaning the artworks, if it sold to the first person, you will get the total sale plus the royalty. But then after if the owner decide to resell it, you will still get the royalty, and it goes on and on and on forever. And this is proved by a smart contract in blockchain. So NFT ni is a really interesting stuff, and ada ni cakap it might be a bubble, and I agree that, because it's really something macam tiba-tiba, tak ada tiba-tiba, benda yang baru lah, benda very like foreign to a lot of us. But my first hand experience of like being part of this community is actually very interesting. And NFT ni dia tak just limit to artworks je, not just to like graphic design, gambar ke audio. It's actually a lot of opportunity. It's basically like a gateway for the future. Don't know, but I would say that I believe in it. So yeah, that's my like macam my thoughts on the future of creative industry as well, specifically in NFT. Okay, so Izo, maybe you can share your thoughts on the future of the creative industry as well.
Yeah, so I like the way that Nabil said about NFT. So NFT, just to add on to this, actually good for creative because the community yang creators community, maksudnya yang buat art ni, dia orang support each other tau. Because semua dia benda baru, so ramai yang macam takut nak try, and then the community of artists themselves yang support. So I think if you are an artist nak masuk scene NFT is very good, and the people are very supportive, the collectors and also the buyers, the creators lah. Okay, and another thing is that I can see the future for creative. Okay, ni it can be too far-fetched or what whatever, but when people are, when the data is become a norm, macam orang dah go into data, digital and all, bila dah terlalu macam stats and people rely on stats, then the time would come bila orang akan start appreciate balik the creative, the human side of thing, the emotional side of thing. So one of the bukti is NFT lah kan, people start creating artwork, tak ada pun macam technical reason ke whatever kan, just an artwork, but people start to appreciate this stuff anymore. So as time goes by, in 5 to 10 years, bila kita dah terlalu macam teknologi terlalu canggih, there's gonna be AR, VR ke apa, will be a norm. So that's when creative is actually lagi dekat lah dengan kita somehow. And I can see that coming, not in 5 years, but maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's very interesting talking about like macam future of creatives because like there's actually a lot of opportunity and macam Adin cakap everything is gonna go digital soon. So better macam rasanya better to at least have a skill that is related to that. Kiranya macam okay, to add on macam maybe Adani can chime in on this because like he's a graphic designer kan. So macam for future of graphic design lah, do you think it will be more accessible to more people? Contohnya macam kan traditionally, I mean sekarang lah orang buat design guna very technical software macam Adobe Suite semua tu kan. But maybe in the future they have like a more accessible, and I can see right now macam Canva semua tu kan, very accessible to a lot of people. So do you think this is a good shift towards the creative culture, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, I can see some people protesting to it. It might be an unpopular opinion to say, you're not a designer. You cannot design. You cannot design on this platform and say it's a design. But it is a design. If the foundation is there, if the principle is there, it is a good design. So I think it's good. It's great. There's a lot of good softwares out there that you don't even have to pay sometimes. For example, like he said, Nabil cakap tadi, Canva. Canva is really good. I personally use it to collaborate with non-designers. I work with like marketing people too, and sometimes they don't know, they either don't have like Adobe's softwares, or they don't know how to use it. So we enable them to use it, to use Canva, to use PictoChart, and I think it is out there. You can, if you want to do it, you can do it, and it's a really good collaborative effort for future of creative industry, I think.
Ya, itulah. Sebab apa macam me myself personally kan, tak tahu lah kenapa, but kiranya I myself pandang sirung juga dulu dekat Canva. I don't know why. Because I've been using Photoshop and to design stuff. But then I actually tried it myself, and wow, it was so easy, and the result is practically the same, even better actually. So itulah macam I guess as a creator you don't have to get macam, it doesn't have to be a debate pun benda tu. After all, it's out there, a tool to create. So just appreciate what is out there. And to those yang baru nak start, this is the best like kiranya you can search a lot of easy to use friendly user friendly tools to use untuk start your journey, either in graphic design ke, I mean for photography you can just use your phone. You can start with your phone that is in your pocket. I guess semua orang ada phone sekarang yang camera dia is at least decent, and you can create a lot of stuff using only your phone. It's just a matter of kiranya finding motivation to do it, as well as finding a good resources, because it's all out there.
Betul.
Okay.
And if I want to add on that, right? So sekarang ni like everyone can be a graphic designer, everyone can be a video creator. Macam TikTok kan, even my mum pun sekarang dia reti pakai the video editing guna TikTok. So it's like the tools are out there. It's just that what story you want to tell. Apa yang nak buat orang relate dengan kita kan. So that's where the creative part, and then since semua tools ni ada and everyone can start be a creative designer ke, or video editor. So how you want to like differentiate from others is where the I think the story lah, like what is it want to tell. You want to make people laugh, or you want to make people motivated or inspired. You can do that with all these tools, and it doesn't hurt pun untuk belajar using Canva before you go into Photoshop or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And talking about social media, and just to add on that, kiranya macam tadi we did mention about kiranya the professional journey of creators macam as a graphic designer semua tu. But there's actually one sector of creator that we didn't manage to touch tadi, which is personal branding. So basically kan, for personal branding, kiranya you a creator, but then you don't create for other people, you don't create for other businesses, you create content for yourself. So macam contoh yang orang I think many will know lah, contoh Khairul Aming. So dia can create content for himself, which his niche is cooking video, as simple as that. So he actually managed to those who don't know his story lah. Basically, he started off creating content for on Instagram for free. He just keep sharing, I would say, knowledge lah, value, which is cooking videos. Sebab it's value because like people will use that video to make food for them. So the way that Khairul Aming managed to, I would say, mantapkan dia punya personal branding is that he consistently share his content. Kira macam hustle lah, macam Dani cakap tadi, and it's all about hustle. It's like it's very hard work, and then you have awal-awal tu memang you don't receive any compensation. That's why you have to have the right mindset juga. You have to come at this sector as a creator first, not as a macam nak ambil, just nak cari duit lah basically. So he just keep creating content for free for almost 3 years, and recently he managed to get sponsors from big brands, from big local brands, and as well as making his own brand. So kiranya itulah nak cakap kepentingan another sector of creative, which is personal branding. But that thing, one thing you guys have to bear in mind, and bila personal branding, you have to realize that you're putting yourself out there. So you have to be comfortable putting yourself out there. You have to expect there's a lot of people going to judge you. I mean, it's social media, it's inevitable. So you just have to kiranya understand what you getting yourself into beforehand, so that you won't macam burn out ke, ataupun like depressed ke apa semua tu. So yeah, just letting you guys know that there's a bit more, I would say, kiranya non-professional way of getting into the creative industry. Okay, all right, maybe you guys have some thoughts on like personal branding as well.
Izo, Izo is good at
Personal
this.
branding. Tak adalah tak ni pun actually. So actually personal branding same juga, you have to have the creative and a creative outlet, like for example Karami dia buat video, for others maybe buat some artwork, for others maybe share dia punya knowledge ke apa in a creative way, and buat TikTok ke apa. You still need the creative skill lah. But then how all these people manage to get there is one thing that I think even me myself, I'm guilty of it, is the consistency lah. So nak jadi consistent tu, it takes more than just you be creative lah. It's actually know where do you want to go. Let's say if you create a personal branding, but what is the end goal of it lah. Okay, macam kalau Karami tu dia bagi tahu yang dia sebenarnya nak sell kakak dia punya sambal kan, but he struggled to sell it for I think 5 years ago. So apa dia buat, dia start sharing value, dia bagi value at one point sampai dia tak perlu, sampai orang yang cari dia punya sambal. So that's the end goal actually yang dia dah plan in mind. But then the secret ingredient is actually not secret ingredient, it's a consistency lah. If you actually, consistency is where people start to associate you with a thing. Kan kita ada what to call it in pseudoscience, semantic network. How you want people to relate you kan. Kalau macam ada ni, okay, ada ni maybe wants people to relate him with graphic design. So he will be the authority of graphic design. Macam Nabil maybe NFT artist. So dia nak orang associate with that. So that's where the consistency come in lah. And also how you different how you position yourself dengan orang lain. Yeah.
Okay. Ya, itulah macam lupa juga tadi nak highlight Izul ni sebenarnya dia banyak share juga his like insights. So macam dia ada his own personal branding lah on Twitter. If you guys
Lol.
if you guys nak tahu more,
But
you just search hashtag tips branding on Twitter.
yeah,
There's a
but
lot of valuable
am
insights.
I consistent enough? So itu yang
Poster syndrome.
yeah.
Baru cakap tadi.
Yes.
Alright. Okay, alright. So I guess we're heading to our end of conversation because after this we're gonna move on to the Q&A session because nampak juga ramai bertanya soalan dan ada yang bertanya khabar juga dekat chat ni. So I guess we can maybe wrap it up with one last sharing lah. How about you guys share maybe with your personal goals in what you're doing right now in the creative industry and maybe expectations as well as some word of advice to people who want to, for people out there that is not creative that want to start this creative journey.
I can go. So yeah, my personal goal, I don't share with people my personal goal actually. So but I can say that I want to have to leave a mark in the world, in the world of design. So I'm looking to like probably in the future to create like a something important. So I'll be whatever it is, um, and I think I want to provide design services for people in the future, like in a bigger scale, like for example, like an agency, maybe start an agency something. But that's just like personal goal. But yeah, my expectation is it's gonna be a tough journey. Hard work is one thing, but like what Izol said just now, consistency. I'm struggling with that, to juggle a lot of stuff at one time. You have your full-time job and everything, and then you have doing freelance and then personal branding. So it's a lot of things to juggle, and then at one point you're gonna realize you're just gonna sit down. I'm not gonna do anything because I have so much stuff to do, and that happens. Trust me, happens more than often. So yeah, I wish the best for the creative industry. I'm really excited right now to see what's gonna happen with NFT because I think again, for the future, it's really a great thing to enable artists to put their artwork out there and actually monetizing it, for the sake of themselves.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So maybe one word of advice to those who want to start.
Oh yeah. So my advice to whoever want to join the design world, my advice is keep on working, keep on reading, keep on looking at source materials, and keep on inspiring yourself and others. And one word, welcome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice one.
All right. Okay, same question to you, Izul.
Yeah. Okay. So I think for me it's same as Dani juga lah. I think we want to make an impact to the world, to the society, in what we do, and also I think that's why I want to work in the education sector because I can help a student in education lah, basically. And then another thing is I like to see. I think for me as a creative, I think also most people related to lah. We like to see our work out there, right? That's the most satisfying lah. No money in the world can give us if we can see like, okay, ada billboard tu is our artwork, or maybe even nampak poster di jalan, that's our artwork. Nampak orang pakai baju kita design, oh that's our artwork. So I think that's the satisfying feeling bila you as a creative yang money cannot buy. And for me, I want to keep on doing that, and also like have the bigger goal in mind where I want to see my artwork or whatever. Yeah, but then again, the impact of my artwork, like if my work helps businesses make more money so that they can hire more people, create jobs for more people, or even the small businesses to increase the income in their family. I think that is the satisfying thing lah, about being a creative, and we all have the power to do that lah. And just a word of advice, if you are a creative and you want to venture into working with people, working in businesses or agency, whatever, try to learn to be more than just an executioner. Means that you can learn your way, okay, all the technical stuff, but try to position yourself also as a thinker. You want to, you don't want to like the boss can telling you what to do. No, but you want to work alongside with these people, this business owner, your bosses, alongside, so that you can share your insight, whatever, so that they can see the value in it. So whatever you do, you are actually helping them to be better at whatever they do, lah. Yeah. So it's more satisfying that way, lah. To be honest. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. There you go. You've heard it from both of them. That was an interesting sharing session. Okay, I would say the last point from me lah. Since we were discussing about like an advice to people lah. So one advice from me as a creator, because I mainly enjoy creating for the sake of creating, not for getting money, for not for people, because I really enjoy that. And my main I guess outlet is through photography. And one thing that I realize, for people who wants to start, this is like just me talking to myself back few years ago when I was struggling to find whatever that I'm gonna do. So the main thing is just getting started. That's it. Because in your head you have a lot of plans, you have a lot of like motivations to do stuff. When maybe hopefully from this talk pun korang akan ada macam motivation lah to venture into this. But then it's useless if that motivation just stays as motivation. You actually have to start doing it. You have to make the effort to just start. Tak kisahlah salah ke betul ke, because after all you're just doing it for yourself first. So it's okay if you get it wrong, or if you not get it perfect ke apa semua. The important thing is just to start. That's all. So that's my advice lah for people who wants to maybe venture into photography ke, graphic design ke, apa-apa lah creative related. Just do it. Nike, not sponsored by Nike. All right. Okay. So I guess that's the end of our, I guess, main sharing session. Thank you to you guys for the awesome inputs and insights. It's very valuable. So I guess we can move on to some Q&As. So to those who to the audience, I see your questions, and I guess kalau korang ada nak terfikir tanya soalan apa-apa, you just can keep asking and we'll go through one by one. Hopefully sempat lah. All right. Okay. The first question, and for the speakers, anyone can answer juga lah if you have immediate answer. So from Hazim Abdul Rahman. All right. Macam mana nak handle hobi suka upgrade kamera tapi tak buat business pun? Okay. I guess okay lah. Kalau korang tak kisah, allow me to share first lah this, sebab dia macam fotografi kan. So macam I understand that hobby of suka upgrade camera, but you have to remember macam why you start that hobby at first. Is it because you want to make money, or just for the sake of taking photography? Because tak salah pun kalau korang nak kumpul kamera banyak-banyak and just kiranya you don't make any money from it. It's not wrong. But then kalau like kau dah rasa besar, kau dah rasa macam pressure lah, macam alamak, asal aku spend lagi banyak duit beli benda tapi tak ada return of investment apa-apa. So maybe you can start cari a specific niche of photography style yang korang suka, either street photography ke, either product photography ke. There's a lot of type of photography punya niche. So when you like realize that, and kiranya you have to you have to be confident lah with your artwork, because if you want to make money out of it, it's you making a service. You macam ambil gambar orang, ambil gambar produk orang, so you have to be confident first, because if you tak confident, then macam mana nak deliver kat orang kan. And then macam like I mentioned before, you just have to start. So if you see an opportunity, just go for it. Because I guess macam tak salah pun you just to if you want to just go for it. Um, macam my personal I guess motto lah, macam I've been keeping on to this. Dia macam menyesal apa? Menyesal buat daripada menyesal tak buat. Macam tu lah basically. You just have to go for it and learn from that experience.
Betul.
Okay, so maybe korang ada juga input on this question. Macam mana nak handle hobi suka upgrade kamera tapi tak buat business pun?
Perlu ke buat bisnes kalau ada kamera? Unless if you want lah. But I think kalau upgrade kamera dan benda tu bagi satisfaction, kan, I think that's okay if you want to share your photo ke apa kan, macam nak tengok what story you want to tell from the photo. I think that's satisfying enough lah. Tak perlu pun buat duit actually, unless you want to, you know, at the end of the day you want to have that camera to free, and then you have to make money lah.
Yeah, I mean, if it buys you happiness, go ahead, man. You can go to people who told you before, money can't buy happiness, but what about these cameras? Make me happy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
upgrade it, whatever, If it's you're living within your means and you upgrade your camera and you're happy, that's good.
That's true.
Hmm.
Yeah. So after all, it's just like what you want to do lah. Basically, you just have to ask yourself that. All right. Okay. Moving on to next question by Daniel Aizam. Opa. Okay. Talking about business branding, which platform has more traction for sales/interest? Yeah. Any one of you guys can share your insights on this?
Mm,
Danny go
Um,
first lah.
okay. So yeah, and okay, if you're talking about business branding, that means you're bringing money into your company, right? So the best way to bring money is to spend some money. So I think depends on what is your target audience. Then you can see. I can't say like one platform or social media is the best for all. No, it depends on the demographic of your company. If your company, for example, let's say um, older, more matron customers, right? These people are not on Twitter. You can see the data. They're not on Twitter. They either watch videos on YouTube or they're watching videos and sharing stuff on Facebook. So there you can already like buang satu and take two of the best and then put some money on ads because it's not that expensive. If you do a little research on it, it's not that expensive and this ads will aggressively target whatever audience that you have, and they will eventually see your products or your services for them. So yeah.
Okay. Nizo?
That's good insight on ads. For me, I like to take the approach of be the authority on that. So let's say kalau nak buat business branding, buat content. So another way is content marketing lah. So you make content, bagi value, so that people see you as a authority on that. So it's more like an inbound marketing lah. What Adani said is an outbound marketing. So it's an inbound marketing. So people come to you. But then it requires, since tak pakai ads ke apa, is free. But then you have to pay with your time lah. Your time, also your research, buat writing ke apa kan. But then also you can hire a writer ke apa to create a content. Buat blog. For me, my strategy is I create a Twitter ads. Twitter thread ads pula. So this experience, last yang thread pasal Siti Khadijah tu, it gained a lot of traction and I got 2 clients from it. Just for a single thread, from a single thread lah. 2 clients. So I think that's one way lah to do it. But then you have to, content marketing is about consistency, buat research and all lah. Yeah.
Yep. So basically dia tak ada macam one size fit all punya answer lah to this question. It all
Yeah.
depends on what you're trying to target. Macam there's a lot of social media, mainly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and recently TikTok. TikTok ni actually interesting tau sebab dia I mean tak tahu lah kalau like people who has actually been on TikTok tahulah kot, tapi orang yang selalu pandang serong kat TikTok ni mungkin diorang ingat TikTok ni just macam video joget-joget ke, benda-benda merepek ke. But it's actually a really, I would say, organic punya reach lah. It's a tool for organic reach. You can like literally create a content for your business as easy as recording tengah apa package kau punya apa order ke apa, and it can get thousands of views. I've experienced it personally, so I would say the power of TikTok is something else lah for now. But then again, macam apa, like we discussed lah, there's no one size fit all, so it's all about experimentation juga after all. Don't limit
Mm.
yourself to just one social media. You just have to like explore everything out there because it's free after all. Yeah,
Right.
so
For
that's
me, for me, it's like I'm too old for TikTok though.
oh, come
Tak
on.
reti lah. That's not my cup of tea lah. It's totally different world.
Ada nampak apa, nenek muka TikTok, come on lah. How are you old for TikTok?
Oh yeah though. Oi man, that's I cannot imagine. Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
a
TikTok is
different, totally
very,
different ball game.
yeah, it is. It's the content style kat situ, you have to understand now. You cannot like basically copy paste content on Instagram, Twitter letak kat situ. It won't get far.
Betul?
TikTok ni dia tak tahu ada language dia orang sendiri tau. They're more like community of memes lah. So if you can
Yeah.
create content for your business around memes, around trends, then you can go far on TikTok.
One thing yang aku rasa, I think that really I cannot understand lah, is that okay, you create a content in TikTok yang okay, you want to have research and all, but then tak ada apa-apa. But sometimes a video yang you buat santai-santai, ambil gambar makan ke whatever, then that one
Betul.
get a lot of traction. Then you have to okay, so what is the strategy for this? Betul lah. I think Nabil is a better in this lah. Tak tahu.
Dia tak tahu lah, TikTok ni you have to like just create content, just like spam lah basically, and see what works. If what works,
It's
just keep doing it.
I'm sorry. I
It's
think
okay.
they're trying to prove that quantity is better than quality. That's what
Yeah.
TikTok's about. Like people have like thousands of videos of them doing weird stuff and nothing, and then getting traction from it, and it's really interesting to it's like a human study really, like psychology.
Yeah. You remember
Okay.
the logo, the lady that made the logo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as simple as that. It's very interesting. So itulah, kalau korang nak like guna TikTok tu, I mean for like entertainment of course, but then if you have a business, try to study how it works juga. It's really interesting to explore. All right. So moving on to next question by Rezki Zain. Kiki, okay. What kind of content will get positive traction? Salah content takut lingkup business. Rules carpet. So ni maknanya macam I guess like viral content macam tu lah kot, ataupun content apa yang like certain brand kat on Twitter kan ada controversial punya content ke apa. So yeah, ada ke jawapan to this question lah? Rasanya macam what kind of content will get positive traction?
Positive traction tu that means what? Traffic ke, engagement ke, sales ke?
Let's say
There's
all
no,
of that lah.
there's
Let's
no
say.
such thing as bad marketing, but then it's up to your value lah. You nak orang ingat you macam mana. So it comes to branding again lah. If you want people to remember you as someone that viral because of weird stuff, stupid stuff ke apa, then go ahead. But if you want someone to remember you because of value that you give, then buatlah content how to, buat content process, and orang lagi suka benda tu lah.
Right. And yeah, I think just make sure that you're not crossing any boundaries of sensitivity. And other than that, it's fine, And then going with sentiment, there's a fine line between joining a bandwagon, like orang lain feminis, aku nak feminis juga, macam tu kan. Joining and actually having a sense of empathy towards a cause is actually good. Like you can join them, you probably don't support it, but you mention about it in your content. For example, you jual tudung, right? Jual tudung, or you jual tudung, and then ada pasal feminist ke apa benda kan, and you personally support feminists, so you can post lah feminist. But if you don't support it, but you can still be in that, join the traction, like because there's a lot of traction in hashtag feminist that time. So you post something about feminism. That's how it is. You're not, just joining the bandwagon. There's a fine line there.
Menempel.
Yeah, menempel. Yeah,
Menempel.
the art of menempel. Right?
Yeah.
Kena itulah, pandai cari opportunity lah basically. But then you have to be, I would say, if you're a good person, just be ethical about it lah. Know where to stop, know where the limit is. I mean, benda tu semua common sense kan. Alright, okay. So we have next question. Okay, by Muhammad Faiz. Designing ni ada work-life balance tak? Okay, maybe to you guys lah kot, since korang memang actively involved in this industry.
Work-life balance,
balance. Muhammad Faiz. Thanks Muhammad Faiz. Ya. Ada, kadang-kadang tak ada. Kadang kalau aku borak dengan kau Muhammad Faiz, aku fikir pasal design juga. So I
Yeah, this is
think, yeah,
something.
I think work-life balance is it's there. Of course, it's there. You know, you're not like when you're sleeping, you're not designing. When you're eating, you're not designing. But the beauty of design is that you, like I said just now, you've seen it everywhere. You've seen it, and you are still seeing design everywhere. Arts is, creation is something you do every day. Every day you wake up, you create a story. Every day you wake up, you create what am I going to do today? That's itself is creation. So I can see that some people blur the line between work and life, which is fine for some practices. For example, fine artists, I know a lot of them doesn't really have a work life balance as much, because what inspires them is going to, in their daily life, will gonna be interpreted into artwork. But for designers like me, I can speak on behalf of myself. I need the work life balance. I can't be thinking about work at night. And try to say to yourself, okay, that this is it today for this part. I'm gonna do something else today. I'm gonna go play games and not think about design for 1 hour. And I guess it's the same as other job. You have to balance it yourself.
Agree.
Okay, so I guess to ni macam related question juga by Muhammad Faiz juga. How do you guys continue being inspired to come up with new ideas now that your hobby becomes your day job? So yeah.
Hazel.
Uh, so yeah, I can go on that. So this is where I mentioned about yang pasal outlet tu. So I think having another outlet yang tak relate dengan your day job, your freelance or your side hustle ke apa is very important lah. So because when you are in day job, you are consistently, squeezing your creative juice sampai habis, and then you feel burnout. Okay, but then as a creative, we cannot like turn off our brain from being creative, right? Somehow, even when you watch movie and then you start thinking about, oh, why the actor is acting like this. So the creative part is never stops, but it's how you express all the creative juice to in other outlet. Macam okay, if I feel burnout as a design, then maybe I tengok movie kan, so that's my outlet. Maybe I ambil gambar. So I think having another outlet yang tak kena mengena dengan what you are doing in the day job is very important lah. And you it doesn't have to be like benda yang tak kreatif. Kalau you nak buat benda kreatif ke tak kreatif, so it's up to you.
To add on that, I'm just sharing a little secrets on a lot of designers that they don't tell people. But there's no one formula to get inspiration. New things doesn't just come up. You have to work hard for it. And for me, I think a lot of people use Pinterest. If you heard of Pinterest, kat Pinterest tu banyak arts, and arts is not simply just stealing other people's work. It's a remix. Our life, it's a remix. We reiterate or recreate something from before, but inspired from it, but from our hustle, from our story. We're telling our story now. So again, it doesn't just come up like that. We're normal people. We hustle and we get we get the result after a while. So I think, yeah, that's in my opinion.
Okay, interesting sharing. All right. Okay. Moving on to the next question by New Feed My. Ni Noraiman kot. Any of you mates started designing for NFTs? Okay, so I guess
Ooh.
I could share this. So yeah, basically macam I mentioned before lah. I recently started creating NFT locally in a local NFT marketplace called pentas.io. This is not sponsored by the way. So the reason that I started creating NFT is because I I I knew about NFT earlier this year, actually around February macam tu, from Twitter lah. And then I see it as a really good opportunity for me as a creative to get involved in cryptocurrency world, because I feel like it's important to know about it, because in the future it's I guess crypto is all about the future. So I personally don't know a lot about the technical aspect, like the apa nak baca chart semua tu, about the trading semua tu. I don't really know about it. It's very technical. It's not my macam cup of tea lah. So when I see NFT, it's actually a great opportunity for me to understand about it more, but on the creative side. So I decided I read about it a bit throughout this year, and then recently when Pentas IO is launched in a local marketplace, I decided to get involved by creating as a way for me to like, basically learn more about it. So about I believe that one way to learn about stuff is for you to actively directly getting involved in whatever that is you're trying to understand. So that's what I did. I create some NFT, and I guess Izul pun actually he's a NFT creator juga. We actually have a separate kiranya macam project lah, NFT project kan, to create. And it's just macam mana nampak that opportunity is a really, I would say, fun and exciting opportunity for creators, and that's why we decided to experiment, play around on it, and
Mm.
just learn together. So yeah, Izul, maybe you can talk a bit about your motivation of why you joined NFT.
Actually, yeah. So actually, and creating our NFTs is my outlet lah. Because I love to do illustration, but before this, right? I'm not sure whether I should spend time on that. Apa semua tu kan. So I think having an NFT is where I can uh, release my creative juice in other stuff not related to work, but then just put it out there in the
In the
blockchain. So
wild.
it's like, yeah, into the wild.
In
But
the
right now
wild.
it's
Yeah.
in the sky lah.
In the sky.
The crypto sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the moon.
And then tengoklah dia nak pergi mana, terbang ke apa, dan see how it happens. I like to think it that way lah.
Itulah. Danny, do you have any interest na ni
I
NFT ni?
might I might be or I might not be in the blockchain anonymously. So see you there. See you in
Oh,
blockchain.
Ooh.
maybe he's actually a whale.
No.
He's actually a
Oh.
whale.
Yeah, I
Yan
wish.
dia man.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
all
made me
right.
think. Yep.
Very interesting lah NFT ni, especially for creators. And I mean, on top of just creating, it's actually a lot of money juga lah to basically tell the truth lah. You can get a lot of money surprisingly fast from NFT.
Ooh, talking from experience.
Yeah, this
Siapa nak tahu
sounds
buat
like
tu boleh DM lah.
sounds like
Okay.
talking from experience.
Tak cukup masa nak cerita.
Yeah,
Anyway, continue. All right. So from Carl Zeman, mind sharing your know-how to getting out of creative blocks? Oh, interesting question. Maybe korang punya like way of bila ada creative block kan, apa yang korang buat?
Oh, for me the first thing
yeah.
is get the hell out of PC as fast as you can lah.
Yeah.
Keluar, then do something else. For me, I like to drive to KL malam-malam just to see people, just to see the light, and you listen to The Weekend and Frank Ocean. So let the my mind cool down a bit lah, because we are processing our brain really hard in term of creative sampai kita langgar we hit the creative block, so we need to chill a bit and not thinking about those stuff lah. And somehow the creative juice will come back again lah. Yeah, more soon than you possibly realize. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Izo. Get out of the working space, and I think when you're having a creative block, you have to remember that you're a human. You don't this ideas. Either you're writing, you're doing arts. These ideas don't come from somewhere mystery or a creative heaven or haven. All the unicorns is there. No, it comes from your experience from looking in the world. So stop doing whatever you do. Go look something. Go eat. Eat out. Watch movie. Go on a date. Get inspired there. And then yeah, I totally agree with Izo.
Yeah, itulah. After all, dia macam it's not a magical skill pun creative ni. It's something you have to come out from like your brain lah. You have to think about it. So definitely have to take some time off from actually creating and enjoy other stuff that is outside of creating basically. Okay, so okay, apa new feed mine Royman ada share just macam to add on NFT tadi lah. The new money is on NFT and JPEG image selling for millions. Ya, itulah NFT ni kalau macam you guys don't know about it, it's basically a market of macam mana? People selling literal JPEGs, a picture, a graphic design, a photo for millions of dollars actually. It's not just thousands or hundreds, it's actually can go up to millions. So it's very interesting. So kalau korang nak macam explore about it. I mean, you can ask either of us. Maybe we can share. Macam boleh lah nak borak pasal ni kan. And then maybe you can do your own research. Just search YouTube ke apa, Twitter. It's out there. A lot of people are talking about it. Okay, so I guess we have one last question. We have time for one last question. It's from Anas. Okay. Oh, ni soalan berat ni. Is art
Oh,
essential? Is
art
art
berat.
essential? So I guess this question itulah is very macam very, I would say, subjective. So apa kata kita, like each of us try jawab ni from your experience, from your thoughts, anything lah. And I guess this is a good question to answer as a penutup jugalah. So is art essential, ada ni?
Is art essential? Um, it's subjective. So if you see it from a point of our life, I think it is. I personally believe art is essential. Art is so big that it's you don't even realize it shapes your life. Can you imagine if everyone is wearing the same color, no design in your t-shirt? You might say, "Oh, I still can live with that," but once you get into that situation, then your natural instinct will be like, "Nope, I'm gonna start wearing something else." What it says there in that situation is that it is essential. Just like, oh, if you want to say eating is not essential, right? Food is not essential, and then you stop. Okay, how about everyone just don't eat? And then one person will say, "Hey, I'm hungry. I need to eat," and we all need to eat. So it's the same, in that perspective, it's the same. Art is essential.
Yeah.
Once we get into a position where there's no art at all, it is bad. So in that sense, it's essential. But if you're asking from a government standpoint, probably they will say it's not essential. You're an artist, stay at home.
Yeah,
Right? So yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately. Um,
Okay.
for me, art is essential in terms of you be human. That means for us as human, art is where you um, connect with people, connect with each other. Art that is something that you connect with yourself. I like to separate art and design because design is functional. Design has to work, but art, you don't even need to understand what art is. You just have to feel it. And one story about art, if I remember when I did in college buat presentation, pasal satu artwork ni, it's a image of a Pope Benedict, tapi dia buat artwork ni guna kondom. So all the condoms in the artwork. Okay, so from this one lady lah, I think in 2008. Okay, and then the artwork get backfire a lot lah daripada the whole world. Imagine Pope Benedict gambar kondom. Okay, but then the message was that artwork tu datang daripada as a bukan documentary, what do you call it? Mock something that you are mocking the
Like a satire.
satire. It's a satire art pasal yang Europe punya government don't care about the how do you call it, sexual punya health dekat Africa. So actually there was, I think, a governor or something lah, correct me if I'm wrong, they buat a comment on that situation in Africa. Okay, but then they get a lot of backfire from the world. Macam apa ni buat komen teruk pasal sexual health kat situ. So this lady dia buat artwork tu just to tell the message all over the world yang this all the big institution doesn't care about the knowledge about the thing, right? So that's where art become, and also a medium for you to tell story, or for you to stand up for something. So I think that is the beauty of art lah. And if it's essential, it is essential. Yeah.
All right, interesting sharing. So I guess to wrap it up, art, I would say that human being itself is an artwork. So we as a human being is essential. So I would say that art comprises a lot of stuff, either dalam business ke, dalam communicating, telling emotions, telling stories. So art is applied to everything that is around us. And with that, of course, it is essential. Okay. All right. So I guess that's all.
Oh, sekejap. Okay, so
Sorry.
just to
Okay.
confirm. So tadi when I talk about the Pope ni tu, it's about AIDS, pasal AIDS awareness.
Okay.
Yeah, boring kan? AIDS awareness lah. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Okay. All right. Okay. I think that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you to both speakers, Adani, Izul, for sharing a lot of valuable insights. And we hope that apa yang kita orang borak and share ni are somewhat useful lah untuk all these listeners out there. So thank you for tuning in, guys. Um, uh, if you have more questions, more further questions, or just not borak about creative stuff, you can all just reach us on our socials. Nanti kita orang letak kot, but this thing is recorded. We'll just put in the description later our social media. Also, okay, so kiranya dah habis the talk lah, but just to add for your guys' information, everybody, this episode 7, is actually our last episode for X3 Talks season 1. So we at Malay College Billy Foundation (MBF) decided to take a pause for this talk session and perhaps restructure it back lah. And like our approach, kita orang maybe buat a better SOP semua tu. And there might be a season 2 as early as next year. So to those out there yang berminat nak jadi speaker, nak jadi moderator, or just be involved in what we're doing right now, you can approach me, Opa, or anyone involved lah to explore the opportunity. And as well, of course, since ni last episode kan, I would just like to give a massive appreciation to our one and only brother Daniel Aizam, aka Opa, for basically organizing this X3 talks. Opa, boleh buka kamera tak? Are you camera ready? Tak pernah nampak muka. But kalau tak, it's okay lah. So anyway, thank you, Opa. Thank you, Daniel, for organizing this. He is the one actually controlling all the slides.
Oh, there you go. Speaking of the devil.
All right, there we go. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
So basically, he's the one yang control all the streams. Kiranya apa? Communicate between the speakers, organize the topic, semua tu. It's all him. So a big round of applause to him. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's it for now. We will hopefully see you guys in season 2 of X3 Talks. Hopefully next year. And of course, it's YouTube. Siapa yang belum subscribe tu macam biasalah, like, subscribe, apa notification bell semua tu, apa-apa semua lah. And then I would just like to end this creative talk with one creative quote by Maya Angelou. You can't use up creativity. The more you use it, the more you will have. All right. So I guess that's
Nice
it.
one.
Good night, everyone, and have a great weekend. Stay
Thanks,
safe.
Nabil.
Alright.
Thanks, Izo.
Thank you, Nabil.
All right, good going.
No
Danny.
problem.
Thank you,
Have a
Opa.
good, have a good one.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
everyone. Bye bye.